I live in Fear-October now. Could come in at any minute and destroy my... I mean, he could really come in here and cause some damage. All right, so like I said, I want to read this farewell address. It's not a poem. It's a farewell address by this, I think, Blackfoot man and Indian. And it's just such beautiful, it's just so beautifully said. And it just shows how much time has been spent living outside, living close to animals, watching everything. It's just beautiful. This is kind of interesting, though, to me. First time I ever read this in Thrill of the Chase, I kind of... I had some confusion there. He says in near the end of the book, anyway, I've never been willing to stand idly by and be part of a forgotten history when I may be able to impact future events. Funnily enough, I thought that Fenn has at least a couple of times said he has no interest in being remembered. But in this case, he's talking about these bells that he buries. And these jars that he buries with screw, you know, these bronze things that he buries. I don't know. Some of them 3 foot deep to avoid metal detection. That seems odd. I don't know why. I mean, I assume the treasure's not 3 foot deep. That'd be the end of that. But he assures us it's not buried. But anyway, he said this. My part will be very small in the big picture, but huge to me. And then he recounts this poem. Safe upon the solid rock the ugly houses stand. Come and see my shining palace built upon the sand. My way of interpreting that is that good old substantive solid life lived, though it may seem more modest, is preferable to a more seemingly lustrous life. A good example of that would be someone who, to me, has big savings, modest home, modest car, and someone else who has beautiful house, the latest model, expensive car, and hardly any money in the bank. That's the palace built on the sand, which sand, of course, shifts, and then rock is solid in your... And of course in life too, I think that could be true, but I mean life in general. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I really like that I mean, the only way I can give an example of the way it struck me was financial. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there are many ways you can interpret that poem. I know there are. I mean, kind of trying to get along with everybody and be real flighty and kind of like, or just being more ugly and being yourself, and maybe you don't make as many friends because you're not glad-handing and trying to be everybody's buddy and always have a big smile on your face. You know, because really people, I think, in the long run, they want someone who's dependable and solid and not always like, yeah, you know, everything is great and you're wonderful too and I love that idea. And, you know, after a while you realize this person doesn't really care about me. They're just trying to be popular. Well, I so much like that. Safe upon the solid rock the ugly houses stand. Come and see my shining palace built upon the sand. So much did I like that. It was kind of funny. I went looking for this poem by this person. Fenn says, those words from Malay's poem tell my story best, and that's where I'm most comfortable. So I go looking for the poem, and I keep finding those great lines. Safe upon the solid house, the ugly, blah, blah, blah. These two, man, everyone really loves those two lines, but where is the rest of this poem? This goes on for a while, and I went, Eric, I think that's the whole poem. It's really almost like haiku, right? It's not quite haiku. I think the meter's a little long for haiku. I don't know. It's close. I really like that poem, though. Alright, so I've talked enough. When I was editing the parts, I saw how much I've been talking about Denver. As a matter of fact, I liked the poem so much that I convinced myself when I was on the in the Dinosaur National Monument Echo Park search area that it had something to do with Sand Canyon. Repeating myself about this book on Kindle called Mary by Janice Huffman, I think it was. And I'm just going to read this. I'll just read it. Mary says, don't know who my father was, but he must have been big, strong, and sharp as a whip. Probably an army man having a little fun. Sure, they call me a bastard, but they learned quick enough not to do it to my face. This woman is illegitimate. Since a woman working at a brothel took her in, she could very well have maybe been a child of one of the prostitutes. But she doesn't, at least I haven't quite finished the book, she doesn't tell us that, or tell me that, because I haven't read far enough. But kind of makes sense, right? I mean, like she says, probably an army man having a little fun. So somehow, a one night or whatever thing turned into a baby by someone. So Mary then says, Jenny is a Blackfoot spirit woman and a real good mother who cooks and cleans at Polly's Paradise. We have a little room in the basement. Her real name is Aoki Aki, Water Woman. I love these names. Actually, there's a picture of it in one of the previous clips. It shows this Indian woman when I'm discussing this book. Water Woman. She taught me sign, how to live off the land, and how to fight with my hands and feet and knife. And she is teaching me the ways of a spirit woman. I only saw Aokiakai real sad once. When I asked her why there were tears in her eyes, she said she was remembering a night long ago. Her father, a Blackfoot medicine man, came over, looked into her eyes, and then turned to the others gathered around the fire. He says, a little while, and I will be gone from among you. Whither, I cannot tell. Whither? An American Indian said whither? Okay. I think the first two lines aren't him. A little while and I will be gone from among you. Whither I cannot tell. From nowhere we come, into nowhere we go. What is life? It is a flash of firefly in the night. It is a breath of a buffalo in the winter time. It is as the little shadow that runs across the grass and loses itself in the sunset. Wow. I mean, you talk about reality check. You talk about it is what it is. You know, what is life? What is life? It's just like that. It's here today, gone tomorrow, and coming from nowhere. I mean, that just really strikes at me because that's kind of how I've always felt about it. You know, life is just so brief, but I love that. It's a flash of firefly in the night, a breath of a buffalo in the winter time, and like a little shadow that runs across the grass and loses itself in the sunset. From nowhere we come, into nowhere we go. Jenny calls me Wind Woman, Sapoaki, because I move so quick. She introduced me to Oscar, her spirit helper. He's a little round man with red hair, bright blue eyes, and a big, big grin. A very horny little man. She doesn't know if I'll ever get a helper. Oscar's a guy that helps the Indian woman at the brothel. You can imagine what this guy's like. I don't know why I say that. It can be like anything. I just thought that was really, I guess I've made it very clear. I really just like the images of especially the buffalo breathing in the winter and just the smoke from his lungs, you know, coming out. It's like, that's life. Having said that, I am done with this particular series. It's been a little, I blame it on the anesthesia. You know, even after all this time, I got out I went in Thursday morning very early, 6 o'clock. I got out Friday afternoon. And now it's Thursday. I can still feel where that anesthesia tube went down my throat and stayed for 3.5 hours. I'm still coughing from it. I know, you're all going, I don't care. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. Okay, folks, that's all I got. And hope everyone's having a real good time. And the Forrest Fenn Hunt goes on. And we all go on with it. Or we don't. People do drop out. They do drop out. But people are always joining too, which I find interesting. People that come on. You know where they have that incredible enthusiasm that they've solved it? And I did that. All these other people have done it. And it's like someone coming into like they've just found the answer to life. And, you know, you're kind of like, yeah, I've been there, done that. We know. You found it. We know. And they're all like, this is it, I know. And you're like, yeah, I know. All right, everybody. But that's cool. That's fun. It's neat. Everybody have a good time. Like I said, I just got to quit talking. What's up, Belle? She the bell. 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 She the bell. She the bell. You guys are not impressed with my singing, are you? At all. Okay.